on the state capitol. 7 o'clock tonight, the State of the State address, which I still say maybe for Friday we put together the State of the Show address for us. Here, there might be a short, probably will be. But let's talk. He is the CEO, the dude sickle in charge, the guy who has founded Harbor Strategic Public Affairs, uniquely qualified to talk about politics inside and outside of the Capitol building. He's been quoted in the Wall Street Journal and Politico, and of course here at home on our own WILS right here on your morning wake up. I have a good friend, John Sellek from Harbor Strategic. John, welcome, and it's good to have you back, pal.
Hey, good morning. I was going to say, I get to be on your show. That's the number one.
Come on, man. You're welcome. All right. Hey, by the way, if I get this put together where I'm going to get a motor home and put the logo on the side and just travel around the state, are you in? You want to go for a little ride?
Sure thing. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, do the show from all over the place. All right, well, let's talk about tonight. This is a big night, especially for Gretchen Whitmer and the Democrats. What's she going to say? I know she's going to talk about free community college. We've had that in our news. What are we looking for?
Yeah, these State of the State addresses happen every year. They're in the Constitution, so it's laid out that the legislature has to listen to the governor at least one time while the governor tries to set the agenda for the year. And it's probably a little bit of an old-fashioned deal at this point. The founding fathers and the Constitution writers never could imagine the kind of media platforms that exist, and certainly not the kind of national media platform that Governor Whitmer enjoys right now. She doesn't need the speech to get her messaging out there, but it's something we do. And I fully expect her to be up there tonight wrapping herself around the lines. That's kind of the first thing you do when you get up there is find your unifying item. You look maybe to somebody who is a hero or did something great or a survivor of a significant problem that we can all rally around. But in this case, it's happy times, right? So the rumors that she's asked everybody to wear blue tonight for the Lions. I won't be surprised if we see her with the Dan Campbell's grit hat on.
So, wouldn't it be funny as you see people in Lions jerseys? You think that'll happen?
We may see a few. There's a few legislators, obviously, from the UP that are big Packers fans, and one of them was wearing a sport coat that completely was made of Green Bay Packer logo.
Come on.
So we may have a little fun with that tonight.
You got to have...
Yeah, it's a good way to rally the troops
stuff
at the beginning. But, when you talk about the proposals, like you said, what do we know right now as we see polling come out of all these primaries? People are very concerned about the economy, about inflation, about jobs. And from the leaks that we see that have come so far, and leaks traditionally happen leading up to the speech just to add some more earned media to the mix, we're seeing a lot of proposals that on the surface look like they're about inflation and they're about jobs and income. There's the caregiver tax credit she's talked about doing for folks that are at home taking care of family members. There's free college tuition. Right now, it happens after a certain age in your 20s, but right now she wants to propose to turn it to be free college, community college tuition for everyone after you graduate from high school. And then she's talked about speeding up her free preschool program, so trying to provide cost savings on the front end for daycare when kids are younger, and certainly help them get a start into the real world when they go out there. Those things all sound good, but then we'll also have to hear about how they get paid for.
There's the rub, because we never talk about that, and we just seem to think that the government has a big dump truck full of gold doubloons, and they can just take a shovel in it, a shovel. We forget that this is money. Again, this is, ladies and gentlemen, our money. This is money we've lent to the government and said, use it to make the roads better and to keep the things going. But it always gets, we forget this is our money, and we've lent it to them. So paying for all of this, how? Free college tuition sounds great. Free preschool, how's it getting paid for? Where are they taking it from?
Right, and Michigan certainly has issues. There's been reports out this week talking about how our per capita income levels are some of the lowest in the entire United States and declining. Our population levels declining, and the governor certainly put together a commission to look at those things. So I'm expecting we're going to hear her talk about some of the proposals that came out of that. But, business groups are really concerned, too, because if we look back at some of the things she proposed in her What's Next speech last September, one of the things involved a probably $1 billion payroll tax increase to fund what sounds also good, a paid family leave act, but that's a thing that will be laid on top of employers to enact and run and raise money or pay money, lots of money, to go into effect. And, the economy is like starting to come around, but, business groups like Great Lakes Growth, they want to hear what is the governor going to do to help employers create the opportunities for careers, the kind of things that help grow population. We need to hear more about that. And I expect we will. I mean, overall, the leaks are very intentional, and they're very tied to what I would describe as economic and inflation-related issues.
Are we going to hear about EVs? Are we going to hear about batteries? Are we going to? Of course we are. And we're only going to hear all happiness, aren't we? That's a significant part of every state of the state, Mike, is, you come out and do your unifying thing and rally around somebody's fund, and that'll be the line tonight. You talk about your proposals, but you have a section where you kind of, like, for a lack of a better word, you brag about what you got done last year. It's a governor's, like, clear opportunity to talk about the accomplishments since the last State of the State speech, and I think you're head on. She's going to talk about the clean energy package, not only funding that's going to the auto manufacturers for battery plants, but this effort to become carbon neutral, and put up wind turbines and solar panels all over the place. It's created a ballot initiative that's arguing in the opposite direction to repeal that because of the local control issue. But that's one of the things that on her agenda, and certainly on the national agenda for Democrats, that she is that level she's playing at now in the potential presidential sweepstakes. Clean energy reform is a big deal, and she's going to lead with it, as is reproductive rights. She spent the last week on a tour around the state with other elected officials in the Democratic Party, talking about the laws they passed last year to enact a constitutional amendment on reproductive rights. And I fully expect we're also going to hear her talk quite a bit about that. Reproductive rights is one of those, I'm just going to call it a buzz phrase, that's used on both sides of the aisle to talk about abortion. You don't hear it much anymore. You don't hear the word abortion said much anymore. And I think because it's a hot button issue. And when you talk about abortion, then people get a little wrapped. So we're just going to soften it and call it reproductive rights. Don't you think that's kind of a misdirection?
Sure. I've heard the governor use both terms, but I think you're correct. Everything is branding. That's what the discussion is. And I think they would argue that it's a wider set of issues that they have to deal with than only abortion. But it's clearly an issue that drove Democrats to pretty wide margins of victory in 2022. Governor Whitmer got over 54% in Michigan. Right now, Joe Biden seems to only dream of something even over 50. And, all this still plays into, can Democrats set themselves up to do well in Michigan even if Joe Biden struggles? Because remember, the State House of Representatives is, when it's fully stocked, only a 56 to 54 majority, a 2-vote majority for the Democrats. This fall's elections can be really heavily focused on the State House when we think about state-level issues and priorities.
Yeah. John Sellek, Chief Strategist, CEO at Harbor Strategic Public Affairs, kind of getting a preview of the state of the state. We'll talk tomorrow about analyzing the whole thing as well here at some point on the show. But John, we appreciate are you going? Yeah, of course you're going to be there tonight. You're going to be
tonight. I'll be on the edge of my seat. I'm hoping that Dan Campbell secretly appears in the audience, but he's probably too busy.
Yeah, I think he's got a little something going on, man. Are you wearing? You're going to be wearing like a Lions jersey or hat or something tonight, just walking around? Yeah, you will.
It sounds like I'm on the radio talking about it. I better do that.
Yeah, it's just already been thrown down, buddy. Hey, John, appreciate it. Go get another bowl of cereal. It's about that time. Don't you have a first meeting of the day coming up here at Harbor Strategic pretty soon?
I put it off for you.
Thanks, man. I love it. I'm going to do my show from your lobby one of these days.
All right, see ya.
All right, pal. Talk to you later. John Sellek, he's a good cat. I like him. He's a little bald head running around there. 1320 WILS.